Ladies and gentlemen, there's a silence that speaks louder than words, the space between two hearts that once connected. When a man and a woman do not contact each other, it might seem like a simple absence, but it is often much more profound. Relationships are the lifeblood of the human experience. They teach us, stretch us, and sometimes even break us. But what happens when that bond is paused? When the texts stop, the calls cease, and the presence fades. The power of connection is one of the most profound forces in our lives. It's what binds us to one another, gives us purpose, and fills our existence with meaning. When two people share a connection, it's not just about proximity or frequent interactions, it's about the invisible thread that ties their spirits together. This thread is woven from shared experiences, mutual understanding, and a deep sense of care for one another. It's the intangible energy that makes us feel seen, heard, and valued. But connection isn't merely about what happens between people, it's about what it awakens within us. Through connection, we find parts of ourselves we didn't know existed. It challenges us to grow, to empathize, and to love more deeply. When someone truly connects with you, they don't just touch your hand or hear your words, they touch your soul. They see you not for who you were or who you might become, but for who you are in this very moment. This kind of connection is transformative. It has the power to heal wounds we didn't know we carried. It can rebuild trust where it was broken and inspire courage where there was once fear. When we're connected to someone, even in silence, we feel their presence. We feel their support and their belief in us. And that can be the spark that drives us to become better versions of ourselves. Connection isn't always easy. It requires effort, vulnerability, and a willingness to show up as our true selves. It demands that we set aside ego, fear, and doubt to meet each other in a space of authenticity. But when we make that leap, the rewards are immeasurable. And yet, connection doesn't mean we're always physically together. It's not about constant contact or daily conversations. It's about the quality of the bond, not the quantity of the moments shared. True connection is resilient. It can withstand distance, silence, and even conflict. When the foundation is strong, time and space cannot erode its essence. In every relationship, the power of connection reminds us of what truly matters: the love, respect, and understanding that flow between two people. It's a reminder that we're never truly alone, even when circumstances pull us apart. Connection is the anchor that grounds us, the light that guides us, and the energy that fuels our journey through life. Understanding space in relationships is an art, one that requires wisdom, patience, and an open heart. Space is not the absence of love or care, it's a vital component of any healthy connection. It is in space that we grow as individuals, gaining clarity about who we are and what we need, both for ourselves and from others. When two people care deeply for one another, the natural tendency can often be to hold on tightly, to fill every moment with presence and interaction. But relationships are like gardens. They need sunlight, rain, and most importantly, room to grow. Too much closeness, too much control can stifle growth. Space allows us to breathe, to rediscover our own identity, and to cultivate the personal strength and independence that ultimately enrich a partnership. Space is not a sign of detachment, it's a sign of respect. It's saying to the other person, I honor your journey as much as my own. It's understanding that we are not just halves of a whole, but complete beings who come together to share our lives. This understanding fosters a deeper appreciation for one another because it removes the pressure to constantly be present and instead invites us to be intentional in how we show up for each other. There is also a profound freedom in allowing space. It lets love breathe, releasing it from the chains of obligation or routine. It's in those moments apart that we often realize the depth of our feelings. We reflect on the importance of the other person, not out of dependency, but out of genuine affection and gratitude. Space can serve as a mirror, showing us what we might not see in the day-to-day rhythm of togetherness. But creating space requires trust. It asks us to believe not only in the other person, but also in the strength of the bond we share. It's a vulnerable act, a leap of faith, because it challenges our insecurities and fears. What if the other person drifts too far? What if they no longer need us? Yet, it is precisely this trust that fortifies relationships, allowing them to thrive even in the face of uncertainty. Space is also about balance. It's not about shutting people out or building walls. It's about setting healthy boundaries that nurture the relationship rather than strain it. It's about finding the harmony between closeness and individuality, ensuring that neither is sacrificed at the expense of the other. In the end, space is not a void, it's a gift. It's the quiet pause between two notes in a melody, the stillness that makes the music beautiful. It's a reminder that love doesn't always have to be loud or constant to be real. True understanding of space allows relationships to flourish, proving that distance, whether physical or emotional, can be a powerful force for growth and deeper connection. Healing through distance is one of the most challenging yet profoundly transformative experiences in any relationship. When two people step away from each other, it's often not just a matter of physical space, but an emotional journey that forces them to confront truths they might have avoided while being together. Distance, while painful, can become a catalyst for growth, reflection, and ultimately healing. When relationships face difficulties, whether from misunderstandings, hurtful actions, or simply the wear and tear of time, it can feel counterintuitive to separate. We often think healing comes only through closeness, through talking it out, or spending more time together. But sometimes the most effective way to mend what is broken is to step back and allow time and space to do their work. Distance creates an opportunity for introspection. It gives both people the chance to look inward, to examine their own actions, feelings, and motivations. Without the immediacy of the other person's presence, we can process our emotions more clearly, free from the heat of arguments or the noise of constant interaction. In this quiet space, we begin to understand not only what went wrong, but also what we truly need and want, both from the relationship and from ourselves. Healing through distance also allows for perspective. When we're too close to a situation, it can be hard to see it clearly. But stepping back provides a broader view, helping us recognize patterns, acknowledge our own contributions to the conflict, and empathize with the other person's experiences. This clarity often brings a sense of peace, even in the midst of uncertainty. It's important to recognize that distance is not a form of abandonment. It's not about walking away from the relationship, but rather stepping aside to let it breathe. Just as a wound needs air to heal, a relationship sometimes needs space to recover. This process is not about punishing the other person or creating resentment, but about fostering an environment where healing can take place organically. Distance also provides a unique test of resilience. It reveals the strength of the bond between two people. If the connection is genuine, it can withstand the separation and emerge stronger on the other side. Absence doesn't diminish love, it tests and refines it. It shows us what truly matters and allows us to return to the relationship with renewed commitment and understanding. However, healing through distance requires intentionality. It's not just about taking time apart, but about using that time wisely. It's a period for self-care, for seeking growth, and for addressing the issues that led to the need for distance in the first place. It's about doing the inner work that prepares you to reconnect with an open heart and a clearer mind. And even if the distance leads to a realization that the relationship is no longer right, that too is a form of healing. Letting go with grace and understanding is as much a part of the healing process as reconciliation. It's a reminder that not all relationships are meant to last forever, but all have something to teach us. Through distance, we learn that healing is not about erasing the pain or forgetting the past, but about transforming it into something that strengthens us. It's about finding a way to move forward, whether together or apart, with a deeper sense of self-awareness and compassion. In the end, healing through distance isn't just about mending a relationship, it's about discovering the strength and wisdom that lies within ourselves. The role of communication in relationships is fundamental, shaping the way we connect, understand, and grow with one another. It is the bridge that spans the gap between two individuals, allowing them to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Without communication, even the strongest bonds can weaken, misunderstandings can fester, and relationships can drift into silence and uncertainty. Communication is more than just words. It's the tone in our voice, the expression in our eyes, and the body language we use. It's the unspoken gestures that convey care and understanding, like a reassuring touch or a knowing glance. True communication happens when we listen not just with our ears, but with our hearts, seeking to understand rather than to reply. This kind of connection goes beyond surface-level exchanges and delves into the essence of what it means to truly know and be known by another person. In relationships, effective communication builds trust. It's through honest and open dialogue that we create a safe space for vulnerability. When we feel heard and valued, we're more likely to share our fears, hopes, and dreams. This transparency fosters intimacy and allows relationships to deepen and thrive. On the other hand, when communication breaks down, trust is often the first casualty. Misunderstandings can escalate, assumptions replace clarity, and walls begin to form where bridges once stood. But communication is not always easy. It requires courage to speak your truth, especially when it's uncomfortable or when it risks conflict. It also requires humility to admit when you're wrong and a willingness to listen, even when you disagree. In moments of tension, the instinct to defend ourselves or avoid difficult conversations can be strong. Yet, it's precisely in these moments that communication becomes most critical. It's not about winning an argument, but about finding a way forward together. In the absence of communication, assumptions often take root. We start to fill in the blanks with our own narratives, which can lead to unnecessary conflict and distance. Clear and intentional communication removes these uncertainties. It allows us to express what we feel, clarify our intentions, and address issues before they grow into larger problems. It's important to remember that communication is a skill, not an innate ability. It can be learned, practiced, and improved over time. Like any skill, it requires effort and commitment. It's about being present in the moment, putting aside distractions, and giving your full attention to the person in front of you. It's about asking questions to understand, not to accuse. And it's about being patient, recognizing that meaningful communication doesn't always happen instantly. Ultimately, the role of communication is not just to resolve conflicts or share information, but to build a foundation for lasting connection. It's the thread that weaves relationships together, creating a tapestry of shared understanding, mutual respect, and unconditional love. When we prioritize communication, we invest in the health and longevity of our relationships. We show the people we care about that their thoughts and feelings matter, and we create a partnership that can weather any storm. Communication isn't just a tool, it's the lifeblood of every meaningful relationship, reminding us that even when words fail, connection always finds a way. Rekindling or redefining a relationship is one of the most significant and delicate crossroads two people can face. Whether the relationship has drifted apart due to time, misunderstandings, or intentional distance, reaching this point requires reflection, honesty, and a willingness to embrace change. The decision to rekindle or redefine isn't just about what has been lost, it's about what can still be built and what the relationship means moving forward. Rekindling a relationship is often rooted in hope and love. It's the desire to restore what once was, to reignite the connection that brought two people together in the first place. But rekindling isn't about returning to the past, it's about creating something new from the foundation of the old. Relationships evolve. And so do the individuals within them. What worked before may no longer be enough. And that's okay. Rekindling requires both parties to come together with a fresh perspective, an open heart, and a shared commitment to moving forward in a way that serves them both. At the heart of rekindling is forgiveness. Without it, the wounds of the past can continue to linger, creating barriers to growth. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or dismissing what happened, it means acknowledging the pain, learning from it, and choosing to move beyond it. This process takes time, patience, and effort from both sides. It requires conversations that may be uncomfortable and decisions that may challenge old habits. But when both people are willing to invest in the process, the result can be a relationship that is not only healed but stronger than ever. Redefining a relationship, on the other hand, is about understanding that not all relationships are meant to remain the same. Sometimes the distance or changes in circumstances reveal that the relationship must take a new shape to continue. This doesn't mean failure, it means growth. Redefining a relationship can mean transitioning from romantic partners to friends, from close confidants to respectful acquaintances, or even from constant interaction to a relationship built on occasional but meaningful moments. This process of redefining requires clarity and acceptance. It asks both individuals to let go of rigid expectations and instead embrace the reality of what the relationship has become. It's not about losing something, but rather about honoring the connection in a way that aligns with who both people are today. Redefining is an act of respect for oneself, for the other person, and for the bond that was shared. Whether rekindling or redefining, the journey involves a deep examination of the relationship's value and potential. It requires asking hard questions. What do we truly want from this connection? Are we willing to put in the effort to make it work? What boundaries need to be set to protect both parties' emotional well-being? These answers guide the path forward, ensuring that the relationship, in whatever form it takes, is authentic and fulfilling. It's also important to recognize that neither choice is inherently better than the other. Rekindling is not the right decision, and redefining is not a sign of giving up. Both paths hold their own beauty and challenges. The key is to choose the path that feels most honest and aligned with where both individuals are in their lives. At its core, the process of rekindling or redefining is about growth. It's about learning from the past while embracing the present and envisioning a future that feels right for everyone involved. Whether it leads to a renewed relationship or a reimagined one, the journey is a testament to the strength of the connection and the courage it takes to honor it. It's a reminder that relationships, like people, are ever-changing, and that their true value lies not in how they begin or end, but in the lessons, love, and memories they leave behind. Relationships are complex, beautiful, and often challenging, but they are also some of the most significant parts of our lives. When a man and a woman find themselves in silence, separated by distance, it is not merely an ending or a pause, it is an opportunity. It's a chance to understand the power of connection, to respect the need for space, to heal through distance, to value the role of communication, and to decide whether to rekindle the bond or redefine its meaning. Every relationship faces moments of uncertainty, but it is in those moments that we discover who we are, both individually and together. Whether the silence brings reconciliation or closure, growth or transformation, it serves a purpose. It teaches us to love with greater intention, to listen with deeper empathy, and to honor the journey that brought us together, even if it leads us apart. Relationships at their core are about shared humanity. They challenge us to show up, to be vulnerable, and to seek understanding. And when silence arises, it's not the absence of love, but a call to reflect, grow, and decide how we will move forward. Because in the end, the true measure of a relationship is not in the time spent together, but in the impact it leaves on our hearts and souls. Let us honor the connections we hold dear, embrace the lessons that come with separation, and trust that whatever path we choose, it will lead us closer to the love and clarity we seek. Thank you.